On the news, President Tinubu rejects one-party state allegations, reaffirms democratic values. Pro-government and anti-government protesters rally in Lagos on Democracy Day. And Dangote retires as Dangote Sugar chairman after 20 years. To have you join us on the news on TV360 Nigeria, I'm Tamilore Akinkolye. This year's Democracy Day celebration took a dynamic turn as President Bola Tinubu joined members of the 10th National Assembly for a rare joint session of the Senate and House of Representatives. In a solemn yet symbolic gathering, the president used the platform to not only reaffirm his commitment to democratic governance, but also to honor the heroes of June 12 and decorate icons who shaped the nation's return to civil rule. Now, TV360's correspondent Okpeyemi Owosheni brings us up to speed on the joint session and the special report.
Inside the red-domed National Assembly complex, Nigeria's lawmakers converged for a joint session marking 2025 Democracy Day, an event that brought together both chambers of the legislature and the executive arm of government. The session began with a solemn prayer before Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas took the podium, praising President Tinubu for his leadership and pledging legislative support for national development.
Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's leadership, we have seen transformation in his bold approach to build and reform the decayed Nigeria. From unifying the foreign exchange markets to local government autonomy, to the formation of the regional development commissions, to Nigeria's educational loan fund, to removing the fuel subsidies, to attracting foreign investments, to the major issue at stake today, the tax reforms, the tax unifications. This administration has shied away from the hard decisions required to stabilize and grow our economy.
Now we require an equally decisive intervention in our power sector. While progress is evident, it is time to wave your magic wand once more to break the cycle of underperformance by shifting from an over-reliance on thermal and hydroelectricity to a diversified energy mix.
In his Democracy Day address, President Tinubu reflected on Nigeria's turbulent path from military dictatorship to constitutional democracy. He paid tribute to the sacrifice of the late Chief MKO Abiola, Kudirat Abiola, and others who stood firm for the nation's democratic ideals. As a gesture of honor and remembrance, the president conferred National Posthumous Awards on several democracy heroes and personally decorated recipients in a move aimed at preserving their legacies and inspiring future generations.
Since 2018, we have celebrated Democracy Day on this day to commemorate the sacrifices of the men and women who fought to restore democratic governance to Nigeria. As we mark a 26th year of unbroken democracy, it is right to honor those who have made sacrifices in the past, braving all odds and the guns to ensure we have a regime of democracy in our country. In this light, I announce the conferment of posthumous honors of CAFR on Kudirat Abiola.
Tinubu also reaffirmed his government's commitment to preserving democratic institutions while dismissing claims of a plan to take Nigeria into a one-party state. He describes the claim as unfounded and politically motivated.
To those who ring the alarm that the APC is intent on a one-party state, I offer you a most personal promise. While your alarm may be as a result of their panic, it rings an error. At no time in the past nor any instance in the present, and at no future junction shall I view the notion of one-party state as good for Nigeria. A one-party state is not in the oven, nor shall it ever be. That said, we would be guilty of political malpractice if we close our door on those from other parties.
The president also welcomed new members into the ruling All Progressive Congress, calling the shift a testament to the party's national appeal.
For me, I would not say try your best to put your house in order. I will not help you to do so either. It is indeed a pleasure to witness you in such a disarray.
On the economy, the president says initiatives implemented by the government are all part of the administration's effort to prepare young people for a globally competitive future.
We are committed to giving more opportunities to young people through job creation and skill development. Through such programs as Nigeria Education Fund, NEL Fund, we are investing in education and in the greater future of our country, vocational training, apprenticeship, and entrepreneurship to ensure that our youth are job ready and future ready.
While calling for national unity, Tinubu charged Nigerians on renewal of their commitment to democratic principles, the rule of law, and inclusive nation building. Okpeyemi Owosheni, TV360 News, Lagos.
Meanwhile, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, has criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration, accusing it of hypocrisy and prioritizing politics over the welfare of Nigerians. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja to mark Democracy Day, Obi claimed the government is more focused on the next general election than addressing the pressing economic challenges facing citizens. While paying tribute to late MKO Abiola for his democratic sacrifices, Obi decried the current state of the economy, saying hunger and food insecurity at unprecedented level, forcing many into professional begging. Obi further warned that Nigeria's debt is ballooned to 188 trillion naira under the current administration without corresponding relief for the populace.
Nigerian businesses continue to collapse at an alarming rate. Within these 2 years, approximately 7 million micro, small, and medium enterprises shut down and folded up across the country. Over 80 manufacturing companies have permanently closed their operations. Funding costs of raw materials and energy costs have surged to an incredible level, making these manufacturing companies to close down. Over 15 major multinational companies, including GlaxoSmithKline Beecham, Diageo, Procter & Gamble, to name a few, have exited due to harsh operating environments. A hunger crisis arising from food insecurity has deepened in these 2 years. Based on the Global Hunger Index reports, Nigeria's hunger situation has taken a hit as we are now one of the hungriest countries of the world. Millions can no longer afford food due to high cost of food and non-existent disposable income.
June 12 marks Democracy Day in Nigeria, a date set aside to honor the pro-democracy struggle led by the late philanthropist Moshood Kashimawo Abiola. However, the mood across the nation is far from celebratory. While the nation has maintained 26 years of uninterrupted civilian rule since 1999, many Nigerians says the ideal of democracy, justice, equity, good governance and accountability remains elusive. Now, TV360's correspondent Simisola Adigun has more in this next report.
After 3 decades, in February 2025, former military head of state, retired General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, confirmed that Moshood Kashimawo Abiola, the man who symbolizes the declaration of June 12 as Democracy Day, won the controversial presidential election in 1993. Since the return of democratic rule, there have been conversations on the trajectory, including the effectiveness of Nigeria's institutions, the impact of corruption, as well as the extent of voter participation. Experts agree that the country's present situation calls to question certain issues challenging democratic governance in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, there is what I call misalignment of interest. While the Constitution talked about collective aspiration by working to advance the welfare of all Nigerians, in practice, it is not so. It is the advancement of the interests of the very few people that are supposed to lead us. So when you look at the budget and the overhead cost, what you get is the service of political office holders. It's about their luxuries and what they can get from the system. The practice of democracy in Nigeria has left much to be desired when compared to what the Constitution talked about. The Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution said the welfare of Nigerians shall be the reason they trade for the existence of the state, which means the welfare of the people put together, healthcare delivery, education, employment, security, constitute what the state will really provide to the people. But today, Nigerians are like local government unto themselves. They provide security for themselves. They send their children to private schools. They create jobs, and then they equally guard themselves by employing the services of private guards, or as we call them, Megad in this part of the world. So it's really a long way to go.
There is no perfect democracy, as we're seeing in America and across the world. There is no democracy that automatically lands on its feet and is perfect at all times. Do we have a robust enough process to maintain the interest of the people to go and vote and actually hold hope that next time things might change if they didn't get it right this time? And part of that is another level of participation. That post-elections, we don't have great participation. So we have some participation in elections, but we don't have post-election participation. The elites have a complete capture of the Nigerian state, whether on state level or on federal level. So there's a complete capture of the instruments of governance.
According to the 2025 governance rating by World Economics, Nigeria ranks D, indicating poor performance across 4 key indicators: governance, corruption perception, rule of law, and press freedom. This is despite President Bola Tinubu's promises to positively reposition Nigeria based on his renewed Hope agenda, in fulfillment of Abiola's Hope 93 vision. Experts highlight the importance of an inclusive government.
June 12, whatever anybody says, has given us the foundation for this what we call the Third Republic, the democracy we have. But there is another agenda that the government has to consider. Firstly, that we're going to have an unprecedented number of young people. And that unprecedented number of young people want instant gratification. And that's not going to be based on material accumulation, but on helping them to understand how they can add value to the future of our country. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on that. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on the ability of Nigerians to have a better way of relating to each other, rather than solving communal problems with violence.
Until such a time that we have a robust economy that support people's aspiration, that don't seek to exploit the people, but seek to preserve people's dignity, that seek to preserve their humanity, and then remove from them the push towards being greedy. So your individual interests should not imperil the interests of the people that are the majority. And so when you have a country like that, whether it is a liberal democratic society or it is a closed system where you have one-party state, the countries and the people will thrive.
These experts acknowledge that Nigeria's Democracy Day is not only a symbolic date, but a reminder of the country's hard-won democratic journey. While hailing the resilience of the Nigerian people and the progress recorded in its democratic governance, they urge President Bola Tinubu to prioritize the welfare of ordinary Nigerians in governance. Simisola Adigun, TV360 News.
Amid ever security presence, groups of protesters in Lagos took to the street in demonstration to mark the June 12 Democracy Day. While some citizens gathered to celebrate the progress made since 1999, others took to the streets to decry what they describe as worsening hardship and anti-people policies under the Tinubu-led administration. TV360's Victoria Konde has more details in this next report.
As Nigeria marks Democracy Day, there are angry voices on the streets of Lagos protesting what they call bad governance, protesting against hunger, insecurity, and what they call anti-democratic moves by the Tinubu-led administration.
The End Bad Governance protesters held empty pots and raised placards while chanting solidarity through the streets. For them, Democracy Day is not one for celebration. It is a symbol of unfulfilled promises. The aggrieved protesters call for a reversal of several reforms, including the electricity tariff hike, to reinstating free education and tackling hunger and insecurity. They also demand the release of previously arrested demonstrators and urge citizens to hold leaders accountable in future elections.
We are not pleased with the hardship, suffering, mass poverty that pervades our land, including insecurity of lives and property. This is not the reason why we fight and end military rule. We fought and sent the military packing for us to have genuine democratic governance.
This administration has been a monumental failure, especially in the area of the economy. Nigerians are hungry, Nigerians are suffering. So all of the achievement they claim to have achieved, as far as we are concerned, does not reflect in the life of average Nigerians. Nigerians today are poorer than they were 2 years ago. Fuel price still remains high, electricity tariff still remains high. Many people are homeless because of how much house rent has become high.
We want a government that will put in place the control of the resources of the wealth of Nigeria so that Nigeria can have access to fuel as cheap as possible. We want a government that will not grant loans to students, but will ensure that education is free qualitatively to all young people in this country.
But not everyone has reasons to complain. Just meters away, the Team Nigeria for Change group turned out in support of the current administration. With music and fanfare, they commend President Tinubu's leadership, highlighting reforms like the student loan initiatives as sign of progress. The group insists their presence is not to disrupt, but to express their own democratic rights.
This is the first time that Nigeria will go over 20 years of democratic rule at a stretch. And all this took effect from the spirit of June 12. If you were around during June 12, you will know that it's a day worth celebrating. We are not saying everything is perfect in the country. We are not saying things are the way we exactly want it to be, but we have reason to celebrate as a country. We are having conferences. We will live here now for a party, at the Blue Roof LTV. So it's an annual thing. It was just coincidental that we saw the protesters. And it's also their rights. They have a right to protest. If I have a right to celebrate, they have a right to protest. So it's not counter.
Despite opposing interest and initial fears of confrontation, security agencies maintained a firm presence, ensuring the demonstration remained peaceful as groups exercised their rights without incidents.
So far, so good. Everything is peaceful. There's no any distraction anywhere. So we are going to proceed with them from here, protect them, and ensure that everything is safe till we get to Ganifa Emimon's part.
Overall, citizens sustain calls for visible, people-centered reforms that address hardship, restore hope, and make democracy truly meaningful. Victoria Akonde, TV360 News, Lagos.
And in other stories, Aliko Dangote is stepping down as chairman of Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, bringing an end to a 20-year leadership that shaped the country into one of Nigeria's leading sugar producers. The company announced that his retirement will take effect on June 16, 2025, describing it as part of a succession plan and commitment to corporate governance. During his time as chairman, Dangote oversaw massive backward integration projects in states like Adamawa, Taraba, and Nasarawa, and played a key role in defining the company's strategic direction, corporate culture, and market dominance. It says it marks the end of an era, but the company says it is poised for continuity and growth under leadership. Arnold Ekpe has been named as a successor, with expectations that he will sustain the company's momentum and navigate emerging industry trends. It's time for a short break, but still to come on news now. London-bound plane carrying 242 people crashes after takeoff in India. Details of the story right after this break. Welcome back. Now let's give you a quick recap of some of our top stories. Amid the gale of defections into the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, President Bola Tinubu has rubbished claims that his government plans to make Nigeria a one-party state, declaring that it is not good for the country. Tinubu said this while addressing a joint session of the National Assembly in Abuja as part of activities lined up to mark the 2025 Democracy Day. We also told you that Aliko Dangote is stepping down as chairman of Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, bringing an end to a 20-year leadership that shaped the company into one of Nigeria's leading sugar producers. The company announced that his retirement will take effect from June 16, 2025, describing it as part of a succession plan and commitment to corporate governance. Now, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limas World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. A switch now to business news, and Okpeyemi Owosheni is on standby for update. Over to you, Okpeyemi.
Thank you, Tamilore, and welcome to business news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says his administration's economic reforms are beginning to yield positive results as key indicators point to a gradually recovering economy. Addressing lawmakers during a joint session of the National Assembly to mark Democracy Day, President Tinubu highlighted improvements in GDP growth, inflation, and foreign reserves. He noted that the GDP rose by 3.4% in 2024, with the fourth quarter recording 4.6% growth, the highest in over a decade. Looking ahead, he announced plans to roll out a fresh initiative in July that will empower 400,000 young Nigerians, including members of the National Youth Service Corps, with access to consumer credits.
This July, we will launch a bold new initiative to empower 400,000 young Nigerians, including youth corpers, with consumer credit. We are committed to giving more opportunities to young people through job creation and skill development. Through such programs as Nigeria Education Fund, NEL Fund, we are investing in education and in the greater future of our country, vocational training, apprenticeship, and entrepreneurship to ensure that our youth are job ready and future ready. In addition, we have embarked on an ambitious project to lay fiber optic cables across the nation, a transformative step towards bridging the digital divide and fostering greater connectivity. This initiative promises not only to enhance the speedy and reality of internet access, but also to revolutionize how business operates, how students learn, and how community stays connected. By extending this critical infrastructure, we are empowering entrepreneurs, enabling digital education, and providing the tools for our youth to compete in a globalized economy.
And that's it on business news. There will be no stock market updates today because of the Democracy Day holiday in Nigeria. Back to you, Tamilore, for the rest of the news.
Thank you for that update, Okbayemi. Now, on the global scene, an Air India flight carrying more than 240 people crashed shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad Airport in western India, officials have confirmed. According to the Director General of India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation, the flight AI-171, bound for London Gatwick, went down 5 minutes after departure, crashing into a densely populated residential area. The aircraft was carrying 232 passengers and 12 crew members. He added that emergency services have been deployed to the scene, and both Indian and UK authorities are monitoring the situation closely. The cause of the crash is not yet known, and a full investigation is expected to follow. And finally, on sport, Nigeria's Super Falcons have held on to the 36th place in the latest FIFA Women's World Ranking released on Thursday. The update comes after the 2-0 victory over Cameroon in an international friendly last week in Abeokuta, with Rashidat Ajibade netting both goals. As part of their preparation for the upcoming Women's African Cup of Nations, where they will face Tunisia, Algeria, and Botswana in Group B, the Super Falcons are set to take on Portugal in another friendly on June 23rd. And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for joining us, and happy democracy to all our Nigerian viewers. Bye for now.